So now in terms of windows and doors, so right now the myth that I have in my brain is that, oh man, maybe I need to kind of just bring all these type of windows and doors from Europe. So how that myth goes is real?
That was the most nerve-wracking part of the job for me. When you order something in Canada, most of the products you order, you can go and touch them and feel them and see them. When you just get told you have, $250,000 worth of windows on a boat somewhere, and you have no idea when it's coming. You have no idea if it's been in a storm or if they're making it, or somebody lost the container at one of the ports. That was the most nerve-wracking part, because we couldn't close in the rest of the building until we had those windows. And it was probably a month and a half longer than we wanted to have them there. And again, I mean, if a measurement is out on that whole building, you're stuck with these windows. I mean, that was the scariest part of the whole job for me, is just making, hopefully everybody got their measurements right and built it properly. And, I don't have to go to Garrett and say, I got to buy another batch of windows.
Correct. Yeah, that will be bad, right? So
that would be bad.
So then, for example, if I go to the website and I find like certain agencies or distributors saying that, okay, well, this is Windows Passive House certified thing. Is that actually not true? Or basically they're an agency that basically by the end of the day, everything needs to go from Europe anyways? Is some like that?
So yeah, there's so many window manufacturers in the world. It's crazy. Germany especially, they're insane. So I wanted to have somebody that I knew, not that I knew, but I knew existed here in Canada. So there was a company called Gallhofer in Calgary that Tomas introduced us to. That's actually where we took our course, is in the Gallhofer showroom. So they have all the windows and doors there. And we found another couple places that priced it for us, but Gallhofer came in with the best number. They are from Calgary, and so it was easy for me to drive to their shop and see them face to face and get answers that I needed if it got to that point. So I really tried to source a lot of things where I could go see people. So, but at the same time, when they just tell you it's on the boat, that's all you get.
Correct. No, I understand that. It's nerve-wracking, right? When you're just in the middle of the situation where you have the client on one side, you have the actual manufacturer on the other side, and you're just waiting, right? So
yeah, oh, man. It's brutal.
It's bad. So what about the mechanical system? So it was another similar situation?
Yes. Most of the stuff we were able to source. Yeah, our mechanical company did a great job. Hawk and Lime Developments. Those guys, yeah, they were able to bring in most of their stuff. It was longer wait times for a lot of it, obviously, but they were able to source it and get it here, so that wasn't too bad. I think the passive house movement is starting to be in full effect. I'm glad we weren't the very first to ever do a building of this kind. So I think Canada is starting to have a lot more access to this stuff. It was, yeah, you get ordering things and you're pulling stuff from New York. I was getting things from Arizona, a couple other places like that. So it was nice to see that most of the trades didn't have too big of troubles sourcing products.
Basically, the lead time went just humongous, like nothing compared with a common project, I believe, right? It was
yeah. Well, it didn't help. We had major forest fires going on, so we lost three of our major mills during this project. So the LVL was a special order package that basically once you order it, you have to pay for it and you get what you get. And yeah, the glue lambs that we used for the front of the building, they were probably a month later than we wanted as well, just because again, the mills were down and it was hard to get anything through. So we ran into, I was golfing with Garrett just the other day and I said, thank God we didn't build Subaru when COVID hit. You know?
Oh man, yeah, I could imagine that. Eh? So
Yeah.
if it's like, even though like in the regular times that is challenging, yeah, even COVID, that it will blow up the whole situation up, right? So
Yeah, that would have been awful.
so now that we are talking about, we're talking about time. What about budget? So you guesstimate somehow like near to that, or just you went?
Well, yeah, we started off with I think we said a year. I think we started off with a year, and obviously we got the building built, and you have to do it in an order of operations. So there's an outside shell and an inside shell. And in order to start the inside shell, you have to close up the outside shell. So the windows obviously took way longer than were expected. And that started kind of the delay process of not being able to close in the building. Because once I get the windows in, that's when we started sealing everything on the inside to get the blower door test going. So that was a big hurt on our timelines with the windows and doors.
Correct. So yeah. So yeah, basically that was the biggest constraint in time, in terms of time and budgeting type of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So now, yeah, my next question is related to, okay, so will you do it again?
I would love to.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah. I learned so much. That was probably the hardest part of the build as well, as not knowing what you don't know. We would get into situations, and thank God we had Blair on site, because he has a binder thick of hand drawings that we had to redesign a ton of the drawings on the fly. We'd be pouring concrete and realizing that we needed, different voids and, protecting the main slab from the concrete aprons outside. You have to have that vapor barrier, the thermal break in between those two things. So we used Armatherm, and Armatherm was brought to us by the architect, but you don't know what you're dealing with, right? Like, you don't know if it's brittle. You don't know if cars can drive over it. You're not really sure what you're dealing with and how it fastens to anything. So we would have to design certain ways that it would be able to go into the cement and stay there, and hopefully stand up to vehicles and everything driving over it as well. So those are some more of the complications during the construction.
So now that the building is up and running, and have you seen certain things that are working well, or some things that you were thinking, well, I'm hoping for the best, and right now is running good? Or what are the things that you feel like, yeah, maybe I could have done that differently, or whatever?
You know what? We haven't got a whole lot of callbacks from Garrett on things that haven't gone well. We're very fortunate for that. He says the building's performing amazingly. One of the big things with Passive House, again, as a whole, is quality of life. So you're working up your optimum oxygen levels at all times. So he says he doesn't get tired. He can work in his office till all hours. He doesn't get that lull that he gets in other buildings. And that's going to be great for his clients and the rest of his staff to be working in that environment. So, I hate to say that we're definitely not perfect, but we haven't heard a whole lot of negative reviews from it. Oh, so the one thing that we did have an issue with, I'll say this: the front doors, they're just so heavy, right? And
Right.
in order for them to keep closed with the pressure of the building, so if you get a door that opens somewhere else and then it'll pop a door open because of the pressurization. Mm-hmm. And if that door catches any kind of wind while it opens, it grabs it. And then you try to factor in having the handicap buttons and everything on them, so the operators have to work properly. So I don't know if there was anything we could avoid. I'd maybe design it a little better. That was probably at the end of the project. We got called back the most for that. That was the thing that we were trying to get around and figure out how the heck we could keep the pressure of this building, but not let the doors pop out.
Yeah, and again, right? Like I think that's one of the challenges that you already have the awareness, right? And for sure you're gonna be kind of just clever, but the next time trying to kind of find ways to how to mitigate that, right? So that's what gets this whole approach pretty neat, right? Because it's like, well, I already did it, so I know what works and what not, and for the next time, of course, you're gonna be better, right? So, yes. No, that's great, because that's is something of the hidden situations, right? Like sometimes when you try to kind of sell this type of principles or certification, most of the time it's like, wow, you're thinking in be a project energy efficient, right? But it's not only that. When you're talking about budgeting and cost of the actual building, you have to see like not only the capital cost, but the actual operation cost. If it's like an owner that is going to treat his building as his second house, he has to kind of have in mind that it's not only maintenance, but also the employees and how they're going to perform during the actual operation of the building. And again, you go to construction cost, and that is another chunk of the actual cake, right? And when you go to the design, you can feel like it's like just some minimum part, right? When you see the whole thing as a holistic approach, you'll see that there are some other ways that you are kind of enhancing the actual situation of the project. And sometimes we always just pay more attention on the actual capital cost when you see that you will have the best product moving forward, right? So that is something that I find that is pretty neat and it's a pretty amazing approach.
Yeah, it was very fortunate of I think we had the right person in the right spot in Garrett to be able to capitalize on something like this. It's like you said, everybody focuses on costs and how they can do it more cost effectively, and that wasn't Garrett's first approach. It was how can I do this building, and it wasn't costs are money's no issue. That wasn't the case at all, but it was the fact that he wanted to complete this project and make it a legacy project, and that we did it in a fact. I think we probably did it most cost effective way we possibly could have, I think. And obviously doing a passive house is extremely not extremely, but it's more costly for sure. But when you look at over time, like that's 100-year building, right? That building isn't going anywhere, and it's going to perform and save him money over those years. And quality of life is a major thing these days, and that's going to bring that to him as well, and his employees. So and then it does the environment. I mean, Subaru is that's the car dealership that is very cognizant of the world we live in today, and I think they're trying to make advancements on going green, and I think they attract a lot of the green people to driving them. So it was the perfect dealership, perfect guy, and the perfect label for everything. I think it was a perfect storm.
Oh, that's amazing. So Well, I have more questions here, but as always, the time is a constraint. So I think, yeah, you did well on all this. I was bombarding you with a lot of questions, actually. So a lot of those, I not even kind of just write down as everything that came through my mind. But thank you for all your responses. Something that I'm trying to do is trying to kind of ask a specific questions to all my guests, and this is the signature questions for this specific podcast. So this is more related with you, Kevin, as a professional, and it goes like this: what's one thing you wish you had known when you began your career? Something that you can think about. Okay, now with your experience, if you can go back in in the past, saying, "Oh man, I should have known these type of things because that would get my life so easier." So what you can share in order that new generations can just take that into account and move forward in the proper way?
Wow, that's a deep question.
Yes, I understand that.
For me, it's been the school of hard knocks from day one. So I think I've learned all the things you're not supposed to do as I've gone along.
Right. The first thing that comes to your mind, like at some point, like I always laugh about this because it's like a pretty kind of common joke saying that the interviewer, it goes funny when it gets interviewed. So in the past episodes, there was one guest that was like, I was in the same situation as you. I was like, wow, tell me what do you think? Right. I was like, oh, well, and yeah, just say the first thing that comes to your mind.
I'm just lost. I honestly, I don't even know what I would change. I honestly can't point out one thing that I would change. I think I learned all the right lessons at the right times. And, you know, if you don't learn from those lessons, you're going to get lost in translation in this business. You've got to be able to adapt and move and there's always things changing. The same with this passive house. It was such a cool build and neat to learn about all of these different things that we have no idea about here in Canada. So, yeah, I think it's being flexible, being prepared to move with whatever comes your way. You can't be set in your ways. You have to be open to every person that comes through the door and asks you something outrageous. And I think that can work for you, Carlos. I think that can work across the board on a lot of things. That there's no one right way anymore. There's so many different ways to skin a cat, and if you stay closed-minded to that scenario, you're doing a disservice to yourself.
I think your response is pretty good because sometimes, sorry for putting you on the spot, but this is pretty important. Honestly, honestly, it's pretty important for whoever is listening, because what I can get from you is that, well, I think everything was learned at my time, at the proper time, right? Sometimes you want to, well, maybe I would like to kind of just know that, but that is not always the proper solution, because even though you have that response at that point, you don't have the proper set of mind or the proper experience in order to kind of all your thoughts can lead towards that specific thought, right? So I think something that I can get from your explanation is totally right. And if you go back and say, be flexible, I think everybody needs about that, right? So I as an architect, I've been in places where a lot of people are pretty set on their ways. And it's like, no, this is the only way. Well, as you were saying, time are changing, right? So you whatever is working right now is not going to work tomorrow. And you can see, like, with all this craziness that started at the beginning of the year, right? COVID tricks in and everything changed. No matter if you were able to be flexible to the change. It's like, is what is happening, and you have to kind of just follow the flow, right? So no, I think your response is pretty good. Thank you for sharing that. Sorry for putting you in the spot, but
that's good. It made me think.
Everybody. Oh, that's great. So, yeah, I think my last question is just how can we connect with you or your company? So whatever you can share with us in order that we can get in touch with you.
Yeah. Do you want my cell number?
Just share whatever you think, because this audio will be shared worldwide. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, blackcreekdevelopments.com. We have all of our buildings up on our site. We started a new division, Black Wolf Custom Homes, which we're going to be bringing in a lot of these dynamics of the passive house. I'm really excited to find somebody who's ready to incorporate some of these. I mean, you don't have to go to a passive house certification. You incorporate the things that we need in Canada to help you make your house more efficient. And I'd like to bring awareness to people that, they pull up to 2 new houses and the one house is, let's say, 20% more than the other house. Well, why is that? Maybe they have the special windows in it. Maybe there's more insulation, the double wall system. That's what you're going to start seeing from Black Wolf Custom Homes, and we're going to put ourselves on the map because of it. And I'm looking forward to doing more of these. And I hope you call me and have me back again, Carlos, when I get some more work done.
Absolutely. So no, for sure. And for everybody that is listening to these audios, I'm going to put a lot of links in the descriptions. Just check that out, because all the information about Kevin is going to be there, and about his company as well. So keep in touch, and everybody, and just look forward for new episodes. And what I need to say is thank you for your time, Kevin. When I reached your company, everybody was open to be part of this, and thank you for that, because this is pretty neat. We need more people that are open to, as you were saying, be flexible to new stuff, and this is new stuff. So hopefully we can just work in the future. I'm gonna just for sure take you in consideration, and hopefully we can work together in the future. That's for sure.
Please do. That'd be great, okay. Carlos.
Thank you very much, Kevin. Yeah.
Have a good night.
And please don't forget to leave me a review on whichever platform that you're using to listen to this podcast. Either good or bad. Remember, Mexicans have thicker skin. You won't hurt my feelings, that's for sure. And better yet, if it has some good criticism, so I can learn from it and improve it, that will be even greater. I understand this hasn't been perfect, but it can be better every time. I recognize your time is valuable, and would like you to enjoy this moment with me as well. Also, if you like what you get from this audio, I will recommend you to be the first to share this info with your friends, so maybe they can get something valuable from it as well. Thanks for listening, and let's meet again soon.